Welcome back to a pen video at Travel by Books. I'm Teresa, and these are my currently inked pens. 3 of these are pens that I've reviewed before, but are just different colors or resins. 1 pen is new to me that I have not reviewed. The first pen is a Jinhao 9019 with a heartbeat nib. It's a heartbeat medium nib. But this pen is in the olive green resin, which looks very attractive with the gold fittings. And this pen will be inked in the writing sample with Diamine Classic Green ink. The next pen is an Admoc M800 with a fine number 6 size Schmidt steel nib. The resin is listed, depending on which store you look at, is either an unlisted color as dark tortoise or dark leopard, and I recently saw a Conway Stewart pen that appears to use the exact same resin, and they call it Honey Noir. I like it because it reminds me of a leopard's spots. This pen will also be inked with the classic green ink. Next up is the Jinhao 9016 in the coffee color resin. The 9016 is the little brother to the 9019, and this pen also has a heartbeat nib, a fine heartbeat nib. I prefer the medium nib. To me, it is smoother and puts more ink on the page. And here is a size comparison. And this pen will be inked with Diamine Vintage Copper. Our fourth pen is a Moonman M800 in the amber resin, and it has a Moonman fine nib. I've heard so many good things about these pens, and they're starting to become scarce, so I thought I'd better get one while I still could. I hope my power stays on. We're having one heck of a storm, as I'm sure you can hear. This resin is beautiful on this pen. This amber chatoyant resin. And this pen will be inked with Diamine Bilberry. And I want to show you a separate video segment of why you need to clean your Jinhao pens before inking them. And that's coming up. And this is my Hobonichi notebook that I will be using for the writing samples. Since I had such dramatic results when I cleaned and flushed my first Jinhao 9019, I decided, and I did get some video of the results of that, and I decided to video the cleaning and flushing procedure of my second 9019. I decided to film it from the beginning. So let's see what happens. These pens have a very tight seal. There is an O-ring, which makes for a very tight seal. All right. Let's draw some water up. And look at that. Wow, that's amazing. This is a pen that just arrived yesterday. I just took it out of the package a few moments ago. And look at all of that blue ink residue. And this is supposedly proof that Jinhao is testing all of these nibs and pens before they get mailed out. And some people don't believe that they're taking the time to do that. Some people believe they're just dipping the nibs. But that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? That they would take the time to just dip nibs in blue ink? Does that make any sense to anyone? I just think that's cool as hell. I really do. Excuse my language. But I just think it's very cool. Wow. Okay. I just wanted you to see that. First up in the writing sample is the Jinhao 9019 with the medium nib. I have to admit that my two Jinhao 9019s are two of the smoothest writing pens that I have. The ink contributes to that also. This is not a dry ink. I prefer high flow inks to a drier ink because it just helps to smooth out any problems you may have with a nib. That's my opinion, of course. And you can get some reverse writing with these pens. And our next pen is the Admoc M800. And of the 4 pens here today, I would have to say that this is the one that feels the most comfortable in hand to me. The writing experience equals that of the Jinhao 9019, but the size of the Admoc is just more comfortable to my hand. And the ink flow with this nib is also very wet. With all of the rain sounds and thunder sounds in the background, this video is also somewhat of an ASMR video, don't you think? I just hope it doesn't put you to sleep. And the Admoc does not do reverse writing well at all. The nib actually caught on the paper as if it were going to tear the paper. And next up is the Jinhao 9016. And of course it has the fine nib. So even though the writing experience is pleasant, I just don't enjoy it as much as the Jinhao medium nibs. And this is a ink with a lot of shimmer. I'm going to give the pen a stir. This is one of my favorite inks, although I have known it to clog up some nibs. It has a lot of shimmer particles in it, but it is a beautiful ink. And as you see, we can get some reverse writing out of this fine nib. Got some ink spots, ink blots in the cap. And now for the final pen, the Moonman M800 with the Diamine Bilberry ink. This is another fairly new ink for me that I really love. It has a medium to high flow, and it works well in this pen. And I do like wet flowing or high flowing inks. None of these nibs of the pens that I'm writing with today, none of them flex, none of the nibs flex. But this Moon Man fine nib in combination with this ink does reverse writing quite well. That actually surprises me. So which of these pens do I like best? Which pen feels the best in hand? And out of these 4 pens, I would have to say that would be the Admach M800. The diameter of this pen is very comfortable, and it's a good length, and it has a comfortable grip section. Which is the better writing experience? That would have to be a tie between the Jinhao 9019 and the Admach. Which do you like? Leave a comment. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good evening.